Good evening, Drew.
There he is. How you feeling, buddy?
Oh, good. My voice is a little scratchy, but
Yeah, what'd you do? Did you go to one of those loud, angry music shows?
no, just a happy hour for work thing, and I talk too loud. So
Oh, snap. Where'd you guys go?
it was just at the office, but it was they had booze and food, and we played some board games. I mean,
Oh, fun.
nothing. I mean, we played. I played Secret Hitler, Skull, and the Fuzzies. There you go.
Ah, I've played 2 or 3 of those games.
Yeah.
You've talked about the fuzzies before, though.
Yeah, it's cute. It's like imagine Jenga, but it's little fuzzy balls. There you go. There's the pitch.
There's the whole damn hook.
That's the whole thing. How are you doing, Drew?
Man, I won't lie. This week's been kicking my butt.
Me
Lots
too,
going
buddy.
on.
Me too, buddy. Woo.
Yeah, but you're out having food and booze and playing board games. The rest of us are out here working for a living.
Yeah. Well, I'm allowed one.
Everybody's allowed one.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to this restaurant tomorrow. I forget the name of it, but it's like Italian food, and I'm going to have pizza for like the first time in forever. I can't wait.
Get it.
Pizza's just one of those things that, I don't know, like when I started really getting serious about trying to lose weight, pizza's one of those things that I cut out because I don't think I've ever had bad pizza. Like I've had pizza that isn't good, but I can never say that I've had pizza that is bad.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. Like I could go anywhere, and if they have pizza, like it's really hard to fuck it up.
It is. Yeah.
Right. And even if it's not great, like I would say, oh, I'd never get it again. Like I still had pizza, but like I don't know. Like pizza's not good for you. Right? Like it's not a lot. Well, no, because a lot of times they put sugar in sauce, and there's a lot of cheese, and there's a lot of carbs, even with thin crust stuff. Like, then whatever how greasy it is, like it's not good for you. But I really really like pizza, and the 3 or 4 times a year that I'll get it. Well, let me be clear. The 3 or 4 times of the year that I will order it for myself. That doesn't like I'm ruling out times where I'm at an event and there's pizza, because that's like free parking. Like you just
What are you gonna do? Not eat? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I can't starve.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't need to eat a whole pizza like a cookie. But like, oh god damn it! All right, let's jump in because we're all over the place with this episode. So. Last episode, we talked about reading comics, and we'll get to specifically what we were supposed to read. But you have some follow-up.
So we talked, I can't remember what episode it was, but you asked me some questions about Comixology and Amazon changing stuff.
Yep.
And I really haven't spent a lot of time in the Comixology app, but I had reason to open it up for the first time for a while. And I open it up, and I see all of my library of comic books.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh. You know what I haven't seen for a while, Drew? I haven't seen email. So in Comixology, you could basically like subscribe to digital issues, and when a new one came out, you automatically got charged, and it got delivered to your Comixology account.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen an email about that for quite some time. I wonder what's going on. So I open up Comixology, and then I see it gets redirected to, Amazon.com/ poop squiggle, whatever. I'm like, oh, that's right. They did this. So I start looking around to see if I can find a place where my subscriptions are. And I can't find it at all.
What do you mean you can't find it?
It doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. There is no Comixology subscriptions kind of got lost in the shuffle.
So where do you go to manage it then? Do you have to manage it through Amazon?
So yes. So what they did, they're like, meh, they're all gone now. So what you have to do is you have to make sure you have one-click pay set up in Amazon. Then you have to go to each individual comic and kind of like resubscribe. So I was like, I don't want to have to do that. Like, okay, whatever. So this is I'm already in a bad mood because Amazon's just like, fuck all of that. So I'm like, okay, I see a search box there. I see the words, it's searching, in theory, comics, manga, and graphic novels. So I typed in Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I wanted to resubscribe to that particular comic. I hit enter. The very first entry is not a comic, a manga, or a graphic novel. It's a book. A hardcover book.
Nobody's got time for books.
And I said, fuck this shit, and close the tab.
Oh, no.
So, like, Comixology was nice because when you search in Comixology, you know what you didn't get? Hardcover books.
You didn't get fucking books. You're not a nerd.
The exact opposite of what I'm trying to buy. I'm trying to buy digital comics.
Comics.
So I don't know. They fucked it all up, and I'm mad. And
now, do you think? Okay, so when I originally heard about the angst surrounding Comixology and Amazon, I thought it was strictly just because of the app, but it sounds like it's more than that, right? Like it's a whole migration to like Amazon's pay system, and
it's bad. It's bad. At least my particular experience was bad, and so much so that I'm like, I don't want to have to go back. I don't want to.
Man, that sucks, dude. That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So did you like uninstall the app? Like, are you completely done?
No, I haven't done that yet, but
you're close.
I don't know what I'm going to do. You know what? I'm probably going to calm down, and I'm probably going to figure out what issues I'm missing and sign back up for the goddamn subscription because I want to read my goddamn Buffy comics. But it just angered me that like they took something that was just so straightforward and exactly what you would want, and Amazon just fucked it all up. First of all, they took reoccurring revenue and were like, fuck that. Let's throw that in the garbage. Well, speaking of comics, Drew.
Right. So our homework from last episode was reading DMZ. Now, full disclosure, this requires you downloading Comixology and navigating everything you just said that you hated.
Yep.
So you go first.
I read one issue. I kind of peanut buttered.
Now, well, you only read one issue because like you just didn't do it or because you didn't enjoy it?
I will read the other 4 issues. I found the lettering to be very off-putting. I didn't think it was a very legible comic to read. But the art style was fine, and I don't know, it seems to be okay. It definitely drops you right in the middle of the action kind of thing. Doesn't explain a lot, at least in the first issue. I mean, I wasn't put off by it. I just didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, so I didn't do it at all.
Okay.
And the reason for that is my iPad was out of juice.
Oh no,
was out of power, and it was sitting on like my dresser upstairs because I had last used it to watch a movie in bed. And after we recorded on Saturday, because we recorded on Saturday last week instead of Thursday, I went upstairs and I'm like, oh, there's my iPad. Better remember to charge it. And for a week straight, I walked right around it, saying to myself, man, I really need to charge that and read this comic. And I didn't do it. And it's charging my iPad's charging right now. So let's table it. I mean, I was hoping to talk about it more because we're going to sacrifice some content. But honest to God, I just forgot to charge my iPad. But it is at 100%. Comixology is installed. I haven't figured out how to go claim my free Comixology yet. So that'll take some brain power that I don't have right now just because I'm completely beat up from work. But yeah, I want to read it. So let's just table it. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next time.
Oh.
All right. What the hell is Universal Control and why is it great?
Have you not heard of this feature, Drew?
Nope.
Okay, so Universal Control is a new feature of Mac OS and iPad OS. They demoed it. Let's see if I can find the marketing page. Here's a support page. That'll work. So before, what you could kind of do is if you had a Mac and an iPad, you could do something that was called Sidecar, which basically turned your iPad into like an external monitor for your Mac.
Right.
So it showed Mac stuff. Universal control is different. Now, it's still quote unquote in beta, and you have to deliberately go into the system preferences and turn it on. But what it allows you to do is say that, I've got my Mac in front of me, my 5K screen right in front of me, and I put my iPad to the right of my monitor. And I take my mouse and I push it all the way to the right to the screen, and I keep going. And then it looks like magic happens, and like my mouse is starting to pull through on my iPad, and I keep going. And then suddenly my keyboard and mouse are controlling the iPad. But it's not a second monitor. It's still the iPad. It's got all the iPad. It's still the iPad. It acts like the iPad pointer where it's the round thing and not a mouse. And it's great. It's great. It works super well. It's such a cool little feature. Not that I'm going to need it, all the time, but it's really freaking cool.
So how have you incorporated that into your workflow, though?
I don't know yet. I haven't, but it's super cool, Drew.
I mean, it does sound cool, right? Mm-hmm. But I would probably set that up, and then I would be like, well, now what? Now what?
Probably for me, a big thing is going to be, this sounds so stupid, is Twitter. I really like the Twitterific iOS client more than the Mac client. It just behaves better. It has more features. So I may make my iPad my permanent, because I always have Twitter open. Almost always have Twitter open. I don't right now, and now that I said that, I really want to open Twitter. And of course, I'm not a monster. I use a bespoke third-party client. I never use the Twitter app or go to twitter.com.
I really need to get on that.
So I may use it for that. There's some other apps that I have that I just like the iPad version a little bit more. My To-Do app is one of them. It's a nice option that if I want to, incorporate my iPad into my workflow, it's there. And I probably won't use it every day, but it is really cool to know that that's a feature that's there. It's one of those, like, it represents to me like all the best of Apple, right? I mean, sometimes Apple is just pure bullshit, right? But sometimes they have this feature where like all their stuff just works magically together.
Yep.
And universal control is one of those. You can even like drag files back and forth between your Mac and your iPad with it, like through it's great. It's great. It's great. It's a really cool feature. I'm gonna find a use for it. Like I said, I probably won't use it every day, but when I want to use it, I'm gonna be really glad that it works as well as it does.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a shot. I mean, is there any special requirement for it? It's just, I'm sure my iPad Mini can do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to be running the latest version of Mac OS and iPad OS, and then you have to go and turn it on the Mac side. But
yeah, Twitter. It'd be nice to. Yeah. All right. Well, now I got something to do tomorrow if I don't want to do like actual work.
Yeah. Who wants to do that?
All right. I'm going to tell you why you were wrong about Tunic.
Okay.
Because I have finished it.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, so when we last left off, right, I was probably like, I still can't find hours played in the Xbox, in the stupid app for Xbox on the PC that tells me, like, how long I've been playing it. And I don't know if I made it, like, super clear last time. But this game, it does put you on rails because there is an order that you need to do things, because there's like power-ups and stuff that you have to get that makes, completing certain sections possible, right? Like, it's a Zelda clone. This isn't a spoiler. Like, there is this game's version of the hook shot to get across gaps and stuff. And like, you can't explore certain parts of the map until you get that. But what this game does do, much like, other Metroidvanias or Zeldas or even like Dark Souls, which this is Souls adjacent just because it gets really fucking hard. If I have one complaint, the difficulty spike that I encountered was like super hard. The game gives you outs. Like, if you're banging your head up against something, like, that might be a clue that you're not where you're supposed to be. So you have to keep exploring and running around and everything. Well, I sort of hit the part of the game where I completed the quest, but then it drops a little bit of a twist on you. In the name of story, which the twist itself is very good, but there was a very, very steep difficulty curve that came with the twist. And I got to this point where I basically had to fight like a boss rush thing. Are you familiar with that concept?
I am, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically just like they weren't the main bosses from the game, but they were a series of increasingly difficult enemies, and some of them spawned quite a bit, so it just took a lot of deaths and a lot of controller mashing to get through it. And once I got through it, then the game gave me such a delicious treat where it basically revealed something to me that was in front of my face for the entire game, and you don't realize it. And I was like, God damn it, this game is just so fucking delightful. Just the way that it opens up to you and stuff that has been in front of you the whole game. It's just like, oh, hey, by the way, did you try this? Because you're a big dummy if you didn't. And then you try it and you're like, oh, wow, I could do this all the time now. And it's like, it gives you a way to experience the game and keep going. And as I got through the game, I just thought that the whole story, the world building, the graphic style, the gameplay, there's not loot, so it's not like a loot train loop type thing like the Destinies or the Borderlands of the world or anything, but just the way that you get power-ups and the way you level up your character and the way that the game reveals itself to you by you basically finding the game's lost instruction manual as you play. I don't know. I just haven't played a game like this in a while that has this kind of impression on me. Now, I get the feeling that you didn't try again based on what I'm seeing in the doc.
Nope. All right, and I'm not.
Okay. Okay.
So what I listen to a lot of podcasts, and one of the podcasts I listen to is The Besties. It's a video game book club, and by listening, you're a member. Well, The Besties has a sub podcast on the same feed called The Resties, where the rest of the best talk about the best of the rest. So it's kind of like a second, like they don't do like the big AAA games, they talk about smaller stuff. And this week's, Resties on The Besties was like primarily about Tunic. And they explained, like the two people that talked about it, they both enjoyed Tunic, one more than the other, but they both really liked it. And they basically explained like kind of what it like. They compared it to the feeling of like purchasing an import video game and the manual coming in Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they explain how like, you're teasing through when they're doing all this stuff and like how they both like, a little bit of spoiler, how they both didn't figure out how to run or how to like level up in the game until like much later on. And they talked about like they really like hey, like the big part of this game is the fact that it's not obvious and it's a little obtuse. And like if that's not nostalgic for you, this is probably not the game for you. And literally, so like everything they said and everything you said just now with joy in your voice was causing me dread. Like all of that sounds awful to me. And and also the fact that like maybe this should be a topic. I'm really over my Xbox. Like,
okay, you were never fully committed.
No, it's just not where I want to play games. It's fiddly, it's glitchy. I don't like the controller. So for me to have to fire on my Xbox to play a game that I'm already just not sold on, and in fact, the more I listen and do research, the more it's like this is not the game for me. I don't want to play it.
I don't blame you, man. Yeah. I really truly don't. Like, I honestly, if I'm being 100% real, like that's how I felt about PlayStation for the longest time.
Yeah.
Right. Like I just don't. I bounce really hard. Well, if I'm being completely honest, I have bounced really hard off of all of the kind of console OSs. The Switch one makes a little more sense to me, but Nintendo does just enough other weird stuff with things like online play that I bounce off of that.
Yeah. I'm looking at you, Switch Lite.
Yeah. Well, is it even worse?
No, it's just I now have 2 accounts on the thing, so I can play.
Right.
It's just
That's
I've
right.
bought certain things or like certain DLCs twice now. It's just bad.
Ugh. Ugh.
Oh,
No, that sucks. Um, yeah, I don't know. I remember when I had my PS4, just like the way things are organized and the way that the game library is organized. I don't know. I never really got it. I will admit that Xbox's is slightly worse.
I Sony's isn't great, but it's like if I would give Sony maybe a 6 out of 10. I would give Microsoft like a 3. It's just like yeah, like let's put the interns on the Xbox UI. I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
it gets the job done, but it's not. And like, I still have problems with like, uh, Bluetooth, like either like both wireless and wired headsets. I still have problems where like it just like after about 30 minutes, the audio just starts cutting out. Regardless, I've tried so many different ways. I've tried physically sitting closer to the Xbox. That seems to be the only thing that fixes it. Is if like I sit on the floor about 2 feet away from the Xbox, I get great, audio quality. And this the controller never lags or anything. It's literally just audio quality. It will crackle and pop, and that's really annoying. I don't like I said. I don't like the controller. I've gotten so. If you're talking about controller ergonomics, like it, to me, it's like, the best is the new PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. Then it's the Nintendo Switch Pro, the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, their handheld one, not the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons are awful. Then the DualShock 4, then getting kicked in the groin, and then the Xbox controller.
Wow.
It's just not good. It's too small. It's too cheap feeling. The sticks are in the wrong spot. And I probably could buy the Elite controller, but then it's like, why do I want to spend $100 on a controller for a console that I don't enjoy using?
So, I hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think I fundamentally disagree. I mean, I grew up playing twin stick shooters on the PlayStation 2, and I mean, there really wasn't any good ones on the PlayStation 1, but like the Time Splitter series on the PS2 was like some of the best couch co-op, couch competitive shooters that ever existed. And, I played a crap ton with the DualShock controllers back then. But ever since I've had an Xbox, that slightly offset left thumbstick has made a world of difference for me ergonomically. And you're absolutely right. I think the base Xbox controllers are not good, but the Pro and the Elite controllers that add a little more heft and customizability and like,
I'm sure,
better triggers. Yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah,
night and day. Yeah.
And there's even those fancy ones where I could switch and put the thumbstick in the right spot. But
like the PlayStation. Oh, you mean the Xbox one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I also like the haptics of the PlayStation 5 controller are just better. Like I'd much rather play my games there. And also, hey, there's a new Kirby game coming out tomorrow, so I'm going to play the hell out of that. So,
I heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to. I can't wait to hear your thoughts about that. I'm actually looking at the PlayStation Store right now, and
online?
I know.
Oh, their webpage is awful.
Well, yeah, it's bad.
It's bad.
But I'm looking. I didn't realize that the PlayStation 5 controller comes in so many cool colors.
Yeah, I have a red and a purple one.
I like that red. It's got like kind of a magenta tint to it.
Yeah, and you can buy. They're starting to sell replacement plates. Those big white fin things.
Yeah,
in those colors as well. So right now you can buy the black or the red plates. I'm waiting for the purple to come out so I can buy the purple one because I really want a purple PlayStation.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean it is a good looking controller.
I like it, and like honestly, the first time you start, like you pull the triggers and you get the resistance or you get kind of the feedback. It's absolutely. It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
It looks good.
Oh,
I've never held one. I've never even seen a PlayStation 5 in person yet.
No.
My friend from Twitter just got one, and I'm super jealous of her. But I mean, I'm jealous because it's cool, but I know that I wouldn't play it. I mean, the only game I would want to play is Gran Turismo, and apparently that's awful this year because they're having all kinds of problems, and the grind is like worse than usual.
Yeah, like I've also listened to podcasts about that, and like from what I've heard, like the actual like cars running on a track, like the physics and how it feels is so good.
Yeah.
But the servicification of it and the grind and stuff is so bad. Like there's a really good car sim game under the hood. And I guess like Sony kind of pulled like a little bit of a trick, a bait and switch, where like the game that the reviewers played and reviewed wasn't like,
no.
and then like shortly thereafter they pushed out some new features and updates which changed like the progression and like all that grind stuff that came after the review embargo. So that's why it's being review bombed so hard, like on sites like Metacritic and stuff. Yeah.
That sucks, man.
No, but hopefully they can fix it and make it better. And like, it looks like it's got good bones. They just need to like, what was that Star Wars Battlefield where like at some point EA is like, fine, we're taking out all the microtransactions. You win.
Man, nerds got gamers. Yeah. Gamers, capital G, got really angry about that one.
Yeah. So I have a funny feeling Gran Turismo 7 is going to get that kind of treatment. It'll probably just be like 3 to 4 months before it happens. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So now we get to the series. Now we get to the section of the podcast where we like to spend each other's money. Okay. So the topic that I sort of want to take us through the end of the show with is, here's my dilemma.
Okay.
Problem statement. I want a new pen. Mm-hmm. Now, pen, let me be clear, doesn't have to mean the canonical rollerball or ballpoint.
Okay.
Just to give you a little backstory here. So I have a really busted workflow right now where critical notes that I take when I'm on the phone with people, I do that all electronically on my computer using OneNote because I can type faster than I can write. And I just jot down notes from meetings. I jot down notes on like stuff that I'm working on documentation for, or stuff that I go back and have to revisit. Like that all happens electronically. But because the way that my brain works, or I guess in this case doesn't work, what I will do sometimes is when I am trying to sit down for the day and try to determine like what is it I am actually going to do, the act of sitting at my desk, opening my notebook, and writing out a list of things for me to do puts me in the right headspace to get to work every day. So I have gone through probably 3 notebooks in the past year where like I just open it up and it's like, okay, here's where I'm at with these things. Like and like I don't necessarily go back and flip through the notebook because again, it's not for notes. It's for Drew getting in the right headspace to do his job. And like I said, like I have my morning coffee and I sort of jot down, like maybe I'll look at the previous day's notes, like to see like that I get everything done. But most of the time it's turn a fresh page, write out like, here's what I'm going to do today. Sometimes we adhere to it 100%. A lot of times we don't, but that's kind of how I work. And I like that. It works for me, right? Like don't at me. But my favorite pen, again, pen air quotes. Let me grab it over here. It's actually in my trash can, which is why we're having this conversation. My favorite kinds of pens are either artist pens or stuff that I would buy at like a Michael's or a Hobby Lobby or an art store. I like fancy. I mean, they're not even really they're not even really pens. They're almost like markers.
Okay.
Where they have like a really fine tip and I have really good detail and stroke control and I can have a cool color, like nothing that's light or fancy or really like obnoxious, but like a nice red or a nice green or a nice blue. And, sometimes these are like $4 or $5 a piece. But that's the kind of implement that I like writing with, but I'm not so fancy that I couldn't write with like a rollerball or a ballpoint or a nice pen that maybe would take refills, which I'm hoping maybe we could talk about. but I'm looking for recommendations on a good writing implement. And if they're not too expensive, like I'll buy more than one and I'll try to find the one that works for me. But I'm trying to find the best possible pens that I can use. What do you got for me?
So, so me personally, I never write anything down.
Okay.
My penmanship is poor. So I just try to, I avoid it at all costs because there's like a good like 33% chance that if I write something down, I will not be able to read it tomorrow. But I totally get your notion of like, the act of putting an ink to paper to get your brain kind of, like a lot of people that's works for them. It doesn't work for me, but it works for a lot of people. My wife, on the other hand, is much like you. She loves writing things down. I'm looking at Post-it notes for reminders she's left me on my desk right now.
Seriously, what's on your desk? What's on your desk?
I gotta schedule the dog for a vet appointment. I gotta call the water softener company because apparently the water softener needs maintenance. It's adult stuff. It's not very exciting. I do have one that says "great job," which I made her write me, so I could keep it on there. Like, write me one that says "you're doing a great job, Paul," and she did. But I wanted to get her a nice pen. I took kind of I listen to a lot of podcasts, right? I'm a big podcast nerd. One of the podcasters I listen to a lot of the shows on is this man named Mike Hurley. He's actually one of the co-founders of Relay.fm, one of like the big podcast networks. He does a podcast called The Pen Addict, where he talks about pens. That's all they talk about. Pens.
I'm
pens.
fucking here for this.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Now, I don't want to listen to all of that. But on his other podcasts, people have asked him, hey, if I want to get into pens, like you get into pens, what is the pen that you would recommend? And I perked up when he said he recommends the Mark I from Studio Neat.
Okay, so the Mark I for Studio Neat. I have not clicked on these links yet, so I'm going to open this up. Okay, the preview looks okay. It's $65. We could talk about that in a minute.
Okay. So Studio Neat, they're basically a design company, and all their stuff is like expensive, right? But it's all made from good materials, right? This is all metal and ceramic. Now, the way he described it is the pen is a delivery mechanism for they built this pen around the rollerball refill, the Schmidt P8 126. Apparently, if you're looking for like the Cadillac of like rollerball pens, this is it. So Studio Neat took this refill and built a very fancy pen around it. You're right. It is $65. It is. It's very minimal. It's very minimalistic, right? It's not as big as a normal pen. It's a little shorter. It's got a very simple kind of, like spring-based, click in and out. But it's really, really nice. The refill is really smooth. It's a great pen. Also, if you want to, you also can. The $65 is just for the black and nickel finish. If you pick other finishes, you can get this sucker up to $80.
I was just looking at that because you know what? The white and copper, that shit looks good. That shit looks really good. But my filth will make that white look terrible.
Yeah, I'm always afraid of white things you hold in your hand. I got my wife the black and copper, I think, and it looks really, really, really nice.
Yeah, that does look good.
So, but when I saw this come through, my thing is, well, I need to get the link to the Studio Neat Mark I. That's when I saw, hey, they're about to release the Mark II, and the Kickstarter already launched. But you can still buy it, and I have a link in there. You can still pre-order it on BackerKit. And it looks like it's still based around the same refill.
It's a pocket pen.
But it has a clip and it can go in your pocket. Yes.
But I never really put my pen in my pocket.
Okay. Yep. I guess the clip will also prevent it from rolling off of your desk,
that's fair.
So I have no experience with the Mark II. I just saw this and was like, oh, I should put this in there because it's, it's the 2 is greater than 1, therefore better. But I do have experience with the Mark I, and it is, it's nice. And
is it hefty?
It is. Oh yeah, it's
so it's got some heft.
Mm-hmm. Like when they say it's like, the Mark I is custom machined, all metal retractable pen with the ceramic based exterior coating for long lasting durability. It's got heft. Like it's, you hold this and you're like, oh, there is absolutely no plastic in this.
Oh wow. Okay, so I'm completely nerding out on the Studio Neat website right now.
They have lots of cool stuff. Yeah.
The Pano book.
Mm-hmm. I also got my wife one of those. Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Man, you could play a wicked game of what's the game where you connect where you draw that
squares.
Yeah. You could play a wicked game of squares on this thing. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Man, that's big.
Yeah, they have
dot grid.
Yeah. They have the book, the pad. They have a tote book. Yeah, they make they make all kinds of
Pano
stuff.
pad.
Yeah, I think I got her the tote book, a pair of tote books, which is a small little like field notes kind of size. Like you can.
Wow, perforation, archive stickers to record my crimes. Mm-hmm. Material dock. Wood docks for MagSafe. Oh, look at that! Oh man, Paul, that's what you need for your bed. Though seriously, look. Remember we talked about this? You were looking for
the dock,
something for your watch and something for your phone.
Yeah,
it's only $20.
Yeah,
MagSafe dock and it's $48 if you want the whole kit caboodle. But that actually looks pretty good. So this is the one, right? Like this is what you would get.
I said I have held one of these pens before. It is a really nice pen. And when you thought of like, hey, I need a pen, I'm like, oh, I also wanted to get my wife a nice pen for a gift. And this is the pen that Mike Hurley, a man who is one half of a podcast called The Pen Addict, would recommend for people to get into pens.
Cerakote coating, matte finish, included refill, 25 grams. Is how much it weighs.
Yeah.
Made to last a lifetime. Retractable. A completely custom click mechanism. But it is a roller ball.
It is. And if you don't like roller balls, you won't like this. But it is a really this is no big pen. Like it is smooth. It is like the ink flows well. It's a very nice roller pen. Now, granted, $65 is a lot to not know if you like a pen, but just know, like, it is smaller. Like, it is not like if there was a picture with someone holding it in their hand, right? Like, it is not like a full length pen. It is it's much shorter, but I think that's a design choice because it's very like with those materials. I think they really wanted to make sure that it wasn't heavier than it needed to be. But it's nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, so I found the pen. So apparently, the Pen Addict is also a blog.
Okay,
maybe it's the same person. I don't know. Blog, the Pen Addict episode, Pen Addict podcast.
Yep. Pen Addict. So, penaddict.com. Yep.
Yeah. So on the website it says top 5 pens. Put a link to this in show notes. But he has it broken, or they have it broken down into sections. So the first is top 5 micro gel ink pens. Ink gel pens.
They go nuts.
They do.
Wow.
Micro gel. I don't think I want micro gel. Top 5 pens in the store. No, I'm not a fucking pleb. I'm not going to do a fountain pen because that's just going to put ink on my carpet. Like I could just fast forward right through that and just dump it on my floor. Like just get that over with. Plastic tip pens. Oh, okay. So plastic tip pens looks very close to what I like. Zig Cartoonist Mangaka Outline Pen. Wow. My test subject was the O2 Violet. How much is this? $2.45.
Wow.
Oh wow. And they have it in sepia? Ooh, that's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna write that one down. Top 5 paper brands, multi-pens. Multi-pen. Oh, it's one of those ones you had in middle school where like you can like click the one down.
Oh, that's
Look
so
at that.
cute.
No, I don't want to relive those years. Ballpoint pens, liquid ink, rollerball pens, retro 51 tornado. That's a good looking pen. I've seen the top of the mountain.
Oh, look at that.
$24. $24. It looks thick though. I don't like thick pens when I'm holding on to them though.
Yeah.
I'm very fussy about this. Pilot Precise V5. Mm-hmm. I remember those.
Yes, those. Yeah.
Morning Glory Mach 3. Looks like a vibrator. Orthographic liner. Okay, now the graphic liner looks like my jam. And first of all, if this is this dude or this person's handwriting,
yeah,
I'm wet. I'm wet. Like that is really cool handwriting. Like how I don't know. All right, I like this one too. Machined pens. Okay. Aha. Now we're somewhere. The TI2 pen. TI2
look
pen.
at that boy.
Look at that boy. TI2 black. Oh, wow. $125.
Yeah, well, there you go. This is number one.
It's made out of titanium.
Yeah.
Uncrate stuffed TI2 pen. Buy now. Oh, it's $55. It must have been more. TI2 pen, a small touch of class by ditching a disposable for a TI2 pen. Oh, buy now, $55 and up. TI2 pen. Ooh.
Yeah.
Stretch gold met. Tips for every pen shipped. Pen Addict full review. How do I buy this? Is it on? I don't. Okay. You know what? You lost me. I can't sit here and try to figure out your obscure website to order this thing. No, I'm out. Okay.
Ooh, they also have top 5 mechanical pencils.
Hold on.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah, I like mechanical pencils too. Oh, there's a link to buy. But then the buy takes me to the same page. Oh, there it is. Okay. Techliner grid, titanium. No, I don't like that. Schlon. Sean Design OA1. Wow, look at that.
The DSGN thing?
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like
Sunderland
it either.
Mark 1. These are all very industrial looking.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah.
A Jodo the pen looks interesting. Big gold long thing.
Oh,
it's okay.
Yeah.
Pen type B is my personal favorite. Oh, that's interesting. That looks very similar to what you linked me, except it looks like it's metal.
Yeah.
Man, this is a weird rabbit hole to be down. Okay.
Yeah, well, there's people who care about pens very deeply, Drew. And
yeah,
I think you found your people.
Rotring 600 is the best mechanical pencil. How much is it? $30.
Yeah, it's not that much.
Rotring 600 drafting pencil, iron blue. Look at that. Wow. $33. Yeah. This is a cool website. Jet Pens.
He has a category just for top 5 orange fountain pens that have orange ink.
We definitely came to the right place here. Top 5 wooden pencils.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's a weird eraser. Look at the eraser on that. On the Blackwing 602.
Oh yeah, I don't like that at all.
Mono.
It's smushed.
Tombow Mono 100 pencil. Karanda switch wood.
Those mechanical pencils, like that's going in my Instapaper queue because I'm gonna look at all of those. Because when I do write, I do prefer a pencil.
I do, but I end up losing all the refillable graphite or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Top 5 most useful pen. Fisher Space Pen. My God, I remember when space pens were huge. That seems like forever ago. Uniball Signo. That's a good looking pen.
Well, they still use them in space, so
Top 5 orange fountain pen inks.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. What happened to sale? Oh man! All right, I'm gonna have to digest this. This is definitely going into the show notes. Like this is crazy. This is nuts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe by next time we record, I'll have a new pen.
There you go.
But I do like the look of this Mark I though.
It is a nice pen, but yeah, like if you don't want the rollerball, then I think you still have some really good choices on pens that are more your style. So, like, yeah, there's a lot here.
I like the idea. I like the idea. I like the idea. The two white variants in black and copper are on back order.
Oh.
So if I want black and nickel, man, that sucks. I can't get the one I want. All right, you know what? I think we've bored people enough. We can make this one. We can make this one a little shorter than normal. But yeah, I want to get a new pen. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up.
Yeah. Hey, we're on the internet, doingtheirbest.com. On Twitter at doingbestpod. I'm on Twitter at Paul Baylor. And where can we find you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Pittfurg, Pittfurg.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.